It's one of those days we can't seem to get settled.
I know, right? We keep wiggling around.
You've got glasses gunk.
I have glasses gunk that apparently did not want to come off.
I think it's pollen personally, but because it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Like a thick coat of yellow to
exactly
highlight everything.
I just got back from North Carolina on Saturday, and my car had been parked at the airport. Holy cow. It was crazy. It was just this fine layer of pollen.
That makes me want to cough just thinking.
I know. Made my daughter sneeze just walking up to it, right?
All right. It's Run It Studios presents Inspiring New Growth with Trina and Michele. Networking in the 417. Thanks for joining us. If you'll let us know what group you're a part of, or if you're thinking about joining a group, the name of your business, and if you have something going on that you'd like to spread the word about.
I know, right? Are you there?
Are you there, world?
Hello.
Sometimes we have connection issues, so we will do our best to.
Thought I should get my phone here. That's what I was doing, guys, so that later, if I need to tell you about events, I have.
Yeah, we are at Vino Cellars, and it's a great place to come hang out. I've got my water. You've got your whatever that is.
It's Moscato, passion fruit.
Moscato. Ooh, pretty.
You know, right? It is this fancy passion fruit Moscato.
And like so it almost look like water.
Yeah. It's like a water bottle. This is my water. That's her water. Trina's water is the best water because they put it.
I'm never gonna live this down.
In these carafes. Tap water in a carafe.
Very cold and chilled. It's refreshing.
That's right.
I enjoy it.
Chilled tap water in a carafe. Did you get a carafe for at home?
Not yet. No.
You have to go find a carafe and put it in your refrigerator. Then you'll be really excited about your water.
Energy water. To pour my own water.
That's right.
Yes. No, I'm not there yet. We'll see one of these days.
Yeah.
Small goals. So what's networking been like? What's going on? What's the word on the street? I have a question when we get to that point.
Okay. Well, I think it's been good. We have a shift in the Friday chapter.
Ooh, tell us about it.
Well, we've been trying to figure out the best time of day for the Friday chapter. So, I think we just kind of have put it on hold a little bit to figure out the balance of if we need to change days for people, because it is a growing chapter, and that's something that we love to do for our members, is the best thing for them. Yeah. So some of our members are going to temporarily be visiting a couple other chapters. Yeah. And then in the next couple weeks, we are going to be launching a new version of that chapter.
That's a good idea. I mean, trying to force something that's not working doesn't make sense. So step back.
Right.
Just like you would with your business. When things aren't working, you've got to figure out what works and be agile.
And you have to treat it like your business. I'm afraid that's like clicking against there. Oh. So there's going to be like an alien clicking sound happening.
You should be okay.
Okay. There we go. I didn't know if it was clicking.
That is funny though that you mentioned that, because I've watched people on interviews and they'll have their like a ton of jewelry and it's clanking on there, and then they come back from a break and their jewelry's
gone. Yes.
Some sound
because somebody
came over.
Maybe I just need to make my neck longer. There. Is that better?
Yeah.
Make my neck longer. Yes.
Good.
So we do have that going on, and then of course we have moving into summer. We have lots of fun stuff going on. And so this is where I like to encourage everybody to, make sure that you have your networking scheduled.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about that, how important that is, just to make it part of your work day.
Yes. And that doesn't just include your official networking groups that you're a part of, but any networking that you intend to do, you need to schedule it and prepare for it.
Yeah.
It's so important. Like if there's going to be festivals going on or barbecues or things that you're going out to, and there are people that you want to make connections with at those locations, you need to prepare for that, because if you don't, you run the risk of not doing it, and then maybe you missed a connection.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that you schedule around that, or you need to make sure that you have subs that can come in for you and talk about your business.
There's been some conversations before about if a sub is helpful or, you know, things like that. And I really got to thinking how I did notice when subs weren't sent, not only does that sub make a new connection for you? I think that's how I initially really got connected with Carla, who was our guest last week.
Right.
417 Pet Nanny. And so I really got to know her business. Now I can refer her, but also you know who they're representing, and it puts in your mind, oh yes, okay, I understand they're out today. They've sent a sub. It just kind of keeps that connection fresh and strengthens it. And I do think it's a good thing to do.
Oh, I agree 100%. I think that subs are fantastic for several reasons. Those that you just mentioned. Also, you're hearing about someone's business from a different perspective. And even if I send what I want my sub to say,
Yeah.
you are hearing about me from somebody else.
Yes.
And so I think that that can give a refresher to your business, because your sub, depending on who they are. So if I send somebody, they're either a client of mine or someone that I work closely with, could be even one of my kids. They sometimes sub for me in my business, and they get an opportunity to see what networking is all about and make new connections, like you just said. But also, you get to hear about that person, your networking partner, from a different perspective.
And sometimes they give like these little testimonies that, you know, the person who sent them didn't know. And it's really cool to hear, oh, well, wow, how great is, you know, that business for doing that. And so it's really,
I think there's so many benefits to making sure that you have a sub who can step in for you occasionally, because just those reasons alone make it valuable. And it can also build your network, because if they send someone that you haven't had the opportunity to meet, like you said, Carla, you hadn't had a chance to really meet her yet, and she stepped in and went to sub for somebody at your chapter, then it gives you an opportunity to meet more people. Maybe you're in a business where it's difficult for you to go to all of the other chapters to visit, but if people from the other chapters come to sub, it's a way for you to build your
way to build some relationships and spark new ones.
It really is. And you know, we can't be at everything.
No.
Sometimes I wish I could have a sub in like my real life. Yeah. You know, like, I just left my house with a lot of dishes sitting in the sink, and wouldn't it be great if somebody could come in and sub for me and do that? I mean, I know there are people who do that. Those are the people who clean your houses, right?
Right.
We do. We get subs all the time for the things that we do.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. I hadn't thought of that before.
Yeah.
So I think it's valuable, very valuable in the world of networking to have those subs.
While we're talking about networking in person, we've talked a lot about the use of social media to make referrals and whatnot. My question for you, I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but I think we've both seen some new networking groups pop up on social media. Which I think is neat, and I'm curious, but what are some flags that we should watch for? Because you never know how genuine and sincere they are. You can't always, you know, sometimes you can see who the admins are and do some homework that way. You know if they're trustworthy, but sometimes you might not know the person, or you don't know what their intent behind it is. And you want people to have a clear picture and understand before they go jumping in and joining and making comments on stuff, things that we should be watching for that could be a red flag or a white flag. Go ahead and go, and this is a good idea.
Sure. I think first and foremost, it's important when you see any new page pop up, go investigate. Go look and see what their intro is on the page. Look to see what they've shared so far. See if there are any organic posts, or if it's just a lot of things that have been shared from other places. Because if it's a real group, a real person, then
Hi, Preston.
Yeah.
Preston with Kelco Cabinets is watching. He has a mobile studio, so you can see his. He will bring it to you.
That's
so
incredible.
If you're looking for cabinets, flooring, Kelco Cabinets.
I've seen some of his work. It's beautiful. Yes, it's absolutely beautiful. So we're glad you're here, Preston. Yes. But yes, when you're online and you see a new group pop up, or you see somebody even mention a new group, maybe it's in the comments, go to that link, check out the page, investigate. I think that's so important to start there. Start by investigating. If you're interested in the group, then I believe it's so important to ask questions. So you need to think about what's important to you. So we talk a lot about ING and why we love it and the pluses to it. So some questions that you want to ask, of course, always start with, is it industry exclusive or is it open networking? You want to ask about their attendance policy, and you want to ask about their policies and procedures. Yeah. You want to talk about what comes with that membership. What can you expect? You need to ask how many times you can visit in order to see if it's a good fit for you. You need to find out what their referral policies are. You need to ask if they're networking exclusive, because some organizations only want you to network within their organization, and some people choose that. That works for some people. So you want to make sure that you're asking all of the questions. You know, I think this is so interesting, and this is something I coach even just clients on. As the interviewee, it's a two-way street. Yeah. So if you're interested in a networking group, they're going to interview you. You get to interview them. Yes, just like a job interview. It is just like a job interview. Ask them the questions that you want to know the answer to. It helps them understand that you're invested too, and that you want to know how the connection is going to work. And if you go visit networking groups, any networking group, if you come to visit ING, sit down, make an appointment to sit down with a few of the people personally in the groups that you're meeting with. You cannot necessarily make a decision about a group of people in an hour. Yeah. It's hard. So, I mean, you could come multiple times and see, but also you want to sit down with the people in those chapters or groups or whole group that you go to visit, so that you can get a feel for the members of the group. Because, you know, a networking group is only as strong as its members and leadership. Right. And so I recommend maybe meeting one-on-one with one of the leaders of the group, and then maybe a couple of the members of the group. A good idea. Yeah. Back to the ones that are solely on social media, trying to build a page. Also see who some of the other members are. Like, look to see if you have any mutual connections. See that there's somebody else in there I know that I trust, and that, you know, don't be afraid to leave one also. Yes. Just because you joined a group, if it's not aligned with your values, and you don't have to stay. And don't be afraid to reach out to the admins. You know, admins struggle because groups grow really fast. Yes. And sometimes the admins have difficulty catching things. Right. So if there's something that you feel like doesn't match the description of the group, send it to an admin and let them know, because they don't know what they don't know. Yeah. Exactly. And even as an admin of several pages and groups myself, I miss things sometimes. Oh gosh, it's a full-time job. And I get tired, you know, like I miss when I needed to switch from, oh, we're back. We were trying to reconnect. I spend a large part of my day trying to reconnect. That's my life all day. Buffering. Exactly. I should just say buffering. I have that look on my face. Yeah. So if I'm like this, yes, I'm trying to reconnect. I'm not being mean. Well, and that, you know, that is something with online groups. You know, you can go in and message an admin. Yeah. And really ask them questions like, what was your purpose of putting this group together? Yeah. What is it that you're looking for? Yeah. And that should be in their description, but if it's too vague or it doesn't answer all your questions, don't be afraid to hit them up, see what's going on. And they may value that feedback, so they can adjust
and amend what they've already put up.
Also, when you're in the group, don't get baited.
Yeah.
There are a lot of groups around that there are people in the group and their sole mission is to get clicks in the group. And they get clicks in the group by posting something that they know people aren't going to like or they're going to argue with. And so, you know what? It is really okay to scroll by.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay attention.
Or engage.
Yeah. Whatever.
Sometimes
you have to engage. I get it. However, if you're in a group, maybe it's a community group, and that is networking, so there are official networking groups that are social media networking groups. And then there are community groups that have been created to make connections and to network in those groups. So if you are in those groups as someone who is hoping to connect to the community, then you need to refrain from engaging with bait posts, because there are a lot of those out there now. Bait posts are to get attention. And so any comment you make, whether it is for or against whatever the bait is, makes more people see the bait.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's best to not do anything. You're saying way more by not engaging.
Yeah.
So that's important. Also, don't go join a group and not participate in it. At all.
Yeah.
If they're positive posts, if they're a good post, comment on those.
Yeah.
If you see someone who is posting looking for something or someone, feel free to comment on that. But if you do, comment with something that's helpful. Don't just post somebody's name. So if someone were looking for podcasting,
right,
and they want to try a podcast, I wouldn't just say, "Hey, you need to reach out to Trina at Run It Studios."
Yeah.
I would say, my friend Trina with Run It Studios would probably be a really good fit for you because here's why.
Now, I know I've done the quick ones in a hurry before too, but I was pretty proud of myself. I did one the other day. Bliss Brothers Painting did you see this?
I saw it.
They had painted this house and it was so beautiful. There were before and after pictures. Yeah. And I did that share and I was like, I'm going to say how I thought about it. And I said, if you would have told me, that blue would look great on this, I would have given you the side eye.
Right.
And they did a beautiful transformation. And so I feel like if you can really take a minute to come up with something like that is meaningful,
right,
it just kind of adds a little flair to it.
Oh, it makes a big difference.
Attention. I had people on there give reactions that probably just, weren't looking for their house to be painted, but now they know that.
But
that place, Bliss Brothers will be there.
Right. And that is something that we need to remember is the entire words.
Yeah.
Social media.
Yeah.
It's social. That's the whole purpose of it. Otherwise it'd be called advertised media.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's about socially connecting with people. So you almost have to see it as word of mouth. Yeah. You're giving a word of mouth. We're not crazy. There was a gnat that decided to visit us. There's Trina.
Get that dry soul. You remember doing the fruit fly? Did anybody have to do fruit flies in college? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So I think that's something that we need to remember is that it's a valuable tool. Social media is a very valuable tool. And we have to talk to people on social media the way that we would talk to them face to face.
Yeah.
So if I were face to face with a group of friends sitting around the table, and somebody said, I'm really interested in going into podcasting. I really would like to give that a try. I just don't know where to start.
Trina Wilcox.
I wouldn't look over across the table and go, Trina Wilcox, Run It Radio.
Or would you?
And then move on with my life. That's not social, friends. Or if I were sitting at the table with somebody and they were talking about remodeling their kitchen and they were looking for new cabinetry, I wouldn't go, Preston, Cocoa Cabinets. Preston! I just wouldn't do that. I would probably say, well, So you want to do that on social media too. Otherwise, it can begin to look like spam.
Well, it does look like the spam and the bots that people get nervous about. So putting that personal touch really helps that connection and is more realistic. It imprints it in their mind that, oh, okay, they can feel and understand what you're talking about.
Also, think about this. If you're the person who's in the group, any group, community groups, networking groups, any type of group on social media, and there's a conversation, somebody puts a question out there and people start commenting on it, and you've never posted or commented on anything before, it's equivalent to that person sitting with a group of friends at a table. One of them says, hey, I need some new cabinetry, and somebody from across the room runs over and goes, Preston, Cocoa Cabinets, and runs away.
Now, every time I go to post now, I'm going to have this visual.
But it's true. I tell people, I was talking to a group of teenagers. I was presenting on the fear of public speaking. And we were talking about that. And I was saying, when you're on social media, because I was telling them that when they're getting hired for jobs, a lot of employers now go look at your social media. And I said, if you wouldn't stand on the square in downtown Springfield and yell it out, you shouldn't post it.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't say it that way, because that's what it is.
It's a public platform.
It's a public platform.
What I think a lot of people remember and think of it as, you connected with these friends, but over the years, those strings have loosened with who can see what, and it is more. It's a higher and louder platform than ever.
It really,
so you really do need to.
So if I'm in a group and I put out there, I'm looking for a roofing company because this horrible storm just came through and ripped my roof off, and people just start posting names of roofing companies, and I've never seen these people's names before.
Yeah.
It makes me skeptical. It doesn't make me reach out. Now, if I'm sitting there and somebody says, well, I personally know blah, 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 and then 2 or 3 other people see that and comment on it too, that's going to make me more comfortable reaching out to that person. Right. So I think the key words there are social. And there's a difference between a lead and a referral, even on Facebook.
Yeah.
So, that's something that really hits home with people in the world of networking, is the difference between a lead and a referral. So, back in the day, this from the radio station, cold calling, you get a list of people and you're going to call, right?
Oh, yes.
I used to make a little extra money to pay my student loan payments. I worked for a carpet cleaning company.
Oh.
And I was that person with the script in front of me.
Yes.
And hello, this is Michelle, and I'm with blah, blah carpet cleaning, and we're in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
No, we're not. I'm sitting at this call center. I don't know where we are. We got people cleaning all over the place, right? But it's the same influence as that. So a lead is a name, a place, a location that's been passed to you. And leads are great. And you can follow up on leads. Referrals are different. So on social media, when you just tag somebody's business, or some people don't even tag the business, they just type out the name, and that's all you do, that's just a lead.
Yeah.
In the world of networking, we're building relationships, and you should be able to give a referral. For example, on the spot, you were just able to describe Preston's business, and we should be able to, especially people who are in our chapters, which Preston is in the alumni chapter of ING, and we should be able to tell people the reason we're referring.
Yeah.
We should be able to make that connection. we should be able to tag both parties, put a phone number.
Yeah. And no shade. We all have our
No.
moments where I've just
Oh.
given the lead, as you say, and that's fine. But just if you're ever wanting to up your game more, just kind of try to take that extra step. And it's kind of fun too, because you can it really makes you think, well, what do I not know about this person's business, or what should I know to make that
Exactly.
help close the deal for them?
Exactly. And also, that don't lurk in groups.
Yeah.
Occasionally like something.
Yeah.
Comment on something. There's a lot of positive stuff that goes on in groups, and it takes 5 seconds to hit like on something. But then you're engaged. So if somebody in that group goes back to see who commented, they see that you've been involved. At least you're not lurking. Don't be a lurker. I know it's hard. Listen, we're all busy. We are busy people, and we are on the run all the time. I spend most of my time chasing myself in a circle like a dog after its tail. But it's hugely important to be seen, to be heard, and to help other people be seen and heard as well.
Which brings me to something else I would like to talk about. You had a post that I saw just before I came in here.
Okay.
It was about being someone who illuminates, and then someone who dims others' lights. And I would like to talk about that because I feel like, especially in networking and in business, and when you're if you have a social platform or any community connection, those are very important things to understand. So can you explain a little bit about that?
The post said, are you an illuminator or a dimmer switch? And out there in the world of management and leadership and having employees, having a team, this is something that is brought to light frequently. And so as a former leader, I have led over 500 people to do their businesses. There are two ways to do it. You can be an illuminator, which means that you light the path and you shine the way to have other people come along with you. And that elevates you and it elevates them. Sadly, we also have dimmer switches. Dimmer switches are those out there who, for whatever reason, don't know how to illuminate themselves and shine the light. The only thing that they know to do is to dim other people's lights so theirs can shine brighter. Yes. Now, that's a challenge because sometimes for some people, there are lots of things out there that affect that, whether you're a dimmer switch, whether you're an illuminator, but we all have a choice in what we do. And the idea really hit me back when my kids were still in college and trying to find jobs, and would come home so frustrated because their managers would just use negative connotations of words continuously, thinking they were motivating them. And my kids would be so frustrated because they're hard workers, and they felt that there wasn't really any, not recognition, but just even highlighting something that they'd done. And it was because the manager was coming from panic mode, or well, I was the low man on the totem pole, so now you have to be the low man on the totem pole. So business culture tends to reflect that. And it's hugely important to really sit back and think about and be honest with yourself. Am I afraid to let other people shine? Like they talk about healthy competition.
Yes. And you know what? And it is hard to do when you're in that moment. Now, I've stepped back from a different perspective and been like, oh, there's room for everybody. There should be room for everybody. And so somebody challenges something that strikes that insecure mode. Oh, our light went out. I'm going to have to recharge it.
Okay, we're in the dark now.
In the dark
Can you
now.
see us?
But when that happens, it does. You're like, you start to panic. You go into this kind of fight or flight. Like, what am I going to do? Someone's trying to take my place, and it can be scary. So I can understand where that can stem from. So what do we do to get out of that? How do we reset and get back to there's room for us all, and I bring something that this person doesn't to the table.
Well, okay, there is room for us all, but that's a very important thing that you just said. There is room for us all, us including you, me.
Yeah.
So what tends to happen sometimes, especially if you're in any role of management or leadership or ownership, we come around to that and we take a step back to let everybody else shine because there's room for all.
Right.
That's the thing. You shouldn't have to take a step back for other people to shine. So you don't need to hold people back so you can shine, but also you don't need to take a step back for others to shine.
Yeah.
And how can we work around that? We can just be aware. Be very aware that collaboration is always a key.
Yeah.
And there is always room for everybody. Keep in mind that not everyone is your client. Not everyone is your client. I don't know how many ways I can say that when somebody stands up and says, I'm looking for anyone who, or everyone who.
Yeah.
No, you're not. That's not true. You're not looking for everyone or anyone who. You should be very focused on your ideal client.
Yeah.
Who is that? And shine your light bright and bring along the people with you who can bring something to the table with that. So you and I here, we both have our strengths and we both have knowledge in different areas. So I don't have to feel like I have to dominate or only talk about my chapter, only recognize people from my chapter.
Right.
I want to bring everybody to the forefront, and I don't have to take a step back to do that.
Yeah.
Same for you. You're doing this because you want people to be seen and heard and recognized. That doesn't mean that you have to take a step back. And I think culturally in business, that has been miscommunicated. I'm not sure that was the intent, but I think that we create competition in business that makes some illuminators take a step back because, well, I don't need the recognition, so I'm going to let this other person have it. It also causes the dimmer switches who don't know how to become an illuminator. Because remember, a dimmer switch goes both ways.
Yeah.
So they can brighten a room, they can dim it. So I think that analogy came to me because I was considering that based on my own experiences in the past.
Yeah.
And we don't have to take other people down to go up. The ladder to success should be being boosted up
and pulling others
up with you. You shouldn't be stepping up with others being the ladder. And I think that is so incredibly true. And there's an analogy out there about crabs in a bucket. Have you ever heard that?
I don't think so.
If you put crabs in a deep bucket, they can't get out.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Why do you think they can't get out?
They're all trying to get out at the same time.
So they pull these, they grab the other one and pull them down. But ants, if you ever watch them,
they will crawl out.
They'll crawl out, but they'll also pull they make a thing to get out.
Those smart ants.
Yeah.
And Jerry tries to get rid of them.
I know, really? You should be after those crabs. They are tasty.
Oh my gosh.
But it's true. You can put crabs in a bucket and not put a lid on it.
Yeah.
And the chances of them getting out are very slim.
Interesting.
Because they could really grab on and pull each other out, but they fight, and it keeps everybody down.
So
be an ant.
Be an ant. Stay away from Jerry if you're an ant.
That's right.
Where can be, and if you don't know, Jerry has a pest control company. That would be why that's so funny to us.
She doesn't just kill ants.
She doesn't just
She's
the
owner of Alpine Termite and Pest Control.
Where can people go to connect with you more for some of that coaching? So they can learn to be a better illuminator.
I love it. So there's more coming.
Okay, good.
On Facebook, it is Michele with one L, Ryan, funky spelling, Rion, Rickman. And you can find me there. That I just post on my personal timeline there. So you're welcome to jump on there and follow me, or send a friend request. You'll get there faster if you follow, but because sometimes I get like, you can, that's probably the best place to start. You can reach out to me through my website, which is michellerickman.com. You can grab my phone number off of my personal timeline. I'm on Instagram as Michele Rickman Coaching. So there's more to come with that, a lot more to come, because the truth is, it's sometimes the very first step is in the words we choose to use.
Yeah.
And it's really whether or not the words have a negative connotation. So all words have negative connotation, a neutral connotation, and a positive connotation. So if someone wants to say that you are thin, okay, thin is a neutral connotation. There's really no positive or negative. You are thin. When I was a kid, I was skin and bones, and people would always say to me, "Oh my gosh, you're so skinny. Your knees are knobby, your elbows are knobby, you're so skinny." Skinny tends to have a more negative connotation. In the fashion industry, we say slender, because that has a positive connotation. Who wouldn't want to be slender? Me. I would want to be slender. Pick me. But seriously, that's, in
high school, I knew this cross country runner, and he was a guy, and people would tease him and call him thin. He goes, "I'm thin." Because,
I'm thin.
Same thing. He did not like he was puny or something.
Right.
So
right.
Words have power.
Words have power, and we don't stop to think about it. And we say things. We have to be conscious about the things that we're throwing out there. Are they uplifting words? Are they something that most people are going to have a positive response to? And so I encourage everybody to really look at themselves. I would say that no one person is an illuminator 100% of the time.
Oh, we're dimensional people.
We are.
We have moments. And like you said, you never know what's driving someone to act or react in a particular way.
It could be old patterns. It could be something that happened to them. It could be trauma related. But it is important to understand that we all have the choice to be an illuminator, and we have the choice to shine our light brightly.
Yes.
Actually, I was just very quickly, I will say that I was just reading about, so my two oldest kids have cystic fibrosis, and I was just reading about the lady who identified the gene and everything in the 1930s. Imagine if she had this discovery and she had kept it all to herself so that she could do more work on it and be the person. Instead, she published her work, she shared her work, and in the 1950s, it was diagnosed. And now we have gene modulators that some people who have CF can take that actually modulate that genetic anomaly in their body, and it can slow or stop the symptoms that actually lead to death. So that is tremendous, considering that prior to the 1930s, you know, there are even wives' tales from as far back as the 1200s that if you kiss your baby's brow and it's salty, the baby's cursed. It's probably not going to live because people who have CF don't process salt.
Oh, weird.
And so that's what causes all of their problems.
Interesting.
So if you're an illuminator, you're lighting the path for those people who are coming after you and or next to you or with you. So be an illuminator.
Be an illuminator.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
Sounds good. We will not be here next week. Memorial Day is Monday. We're going to take a break and then we'll come back after that. If you would like to come on and share about your business, just send us a message. We will get you scheduled. Any events, let me know.
Right.
And if you want to see the rest of these videos, if you can't catch it on Facebook, you can always go to YouTube. Anywhere you get your podcast, you can always link over to those platforms from runitstudios.com. And if you love what Run It Studios is doing, we are community supported. So if you want to make a contribution, a donation to keep the interviews going, the music, the indie music going, we would love that. There's a little link on the website, and I've got it posted on the socials that you can.
It's great too. It's fantastic to support all of it. Support it. There aren't enough platforms out there for writers and indie artists to get their information out.
Being discovered as an indie musician, you know, there's a lower barrier to entry than there ever was, but still just getting the word out and creating the buzz and you discovering someone new is just what Run Radio is all about.
So I see here that Italian Kitchen
they got some stuff coming up.
Focaccia making class tonight. I don't know if that's full, but you need to go check it out because if that one's full, they have others. That are scheduled.
Check it out. They were having, like, when we had all the storms, they got hit and everything. So do check and then see if you can get in that. That would be a really cool thing to do.
And this Saturday, our very own Allie Hutzel, who's a looping musician, but also has a multi-piece band. She and her band are going to be at Big Buoys in Kimberling City Saturday night from 7 to 11. So if you're looking for something to do over the weekend, that's going to be fantastic. The food there is amazing. And obviously the entertainment will be great. Let's see. What else do we have? Oh, it says on May 30th, Alex and Jennifer with Italian Kitchen are doing cream caramel and tatin. I don't know what that tatin maybe. I don't know, but that looks really yummy.
Good.
Yes. So you need to jump out there and try some things. This Friday is the Memories of Sicily dinner that they're having. So, in May, or actually this summer, May 23rd, June 27th, July 25th, and August 8th are free movies at Founders Park or Jordan Valley Park.
Cool.
So free movies at Jordan Valley Park. So lots of things going on out there. Also, there's the Pride Brunch that's benefiting Springfield Black Tie. I Can't Talk. Yeah. And that is June 1st at 11 a.m. So amazing, fun things happening. I did hear about this Friday. They're having Cousin's Maine Lobster at Old Fruit. All right.
There are things happening around the town.
And these are all networking opportunities. Even if it doesn't say the word networking in it, you're going to meet people. And you never know where that next big client's going to be.
So it doesn't hurt to keep cards on you at all times.
Absolutely.
Which I'm the first one that says, I'm out of cards.
Me too. And they're sitting in this nice little box in my office. All I have to do is get them
with you. And we will see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks for joining us. Learn more at inspiringnewgrowth.com.
That's right. Have a good Memorial Day.
Bye.